Corey, the Titans were able to win that last spot in the AFC playoff bracket. Their reward, the Patriots. The way New England struggled down the stretch, do they like this matchup?
Well, you know, like every team in the NFL, Jack, they're not going to admit to anything, but everyone here in Tennessee on the fan side and in the media side loves this matchup, and they love the prospect of playing the Patriots compared to going to Kansas City and playing all that speed on the outside. When you look at where the Titans have struggled recently, it's because of the injuries in their secondary. So the thought of having to play Mecole Hardman and Tyreek Hill is a lot worse than the randos that the New England Patriots are running out there at wide receiver right now. It's a much better matchup for the Titans from that aspect, that the Patriots simply don't have the weapons on the outside to burn them like the Chiefs do. So this is a very good matchup for the Titans. That doesn't mean they're going to go win, but it certainly means they've got a better chance.
Oh, and I know the Texans were resting key players on Sunday. How much did you like the way the Titans just went out and took care of business, because they sure didn't mess around?
Well, you know, I liked what they did offensively because they bludgeoned the Texans. They hit them just the way they want to hit people. They want to run, they want to run, they want to run, and then they want to shoot you deep on play action. But the big concern, Jack, is defensively. You know, that was an A.J. McCarron's offense with DeAndre Carter, I think, at one wide receiver, and I can't even tell you who the other one was. And the Titans let him go right down the field. 15 plays on the opening drive and score. They had another long scoring drive over 10 plays. The Titans have gone from a defensive team to an offensive team in one season, and they didn't do a lot defensively to make you feel great about that performance headed to New England, who's going to try to run the football a little bit against them. So there's a lot to like about what the Titans did, but everybody here still has a little bit of concern, or maybe more than a little bit of concern, about the way that defense is performing heading into the postseason.
All right, while we're on the subject of running the football, Derrick Henry, 32 carries, over 200 yards, 3 touchdowns. I'm guessing that hamstring is fine. How surprised were you to see him get that much action?
Well, I was surprised to see him get that much action because now they've only got 6 days till their next game. Now, look, he was closing in on the rushing title, and he had a lot of work to do in the second half, but he was just ripping off the yardage in chunks. And the great story here is that he came to the sideline, and Mike Vrabel told him, Derrick, you got 2 plays to win the rushing crown. On the very next play, he went 53 yards for the touchdown and won the rushing crown by, I think, about 40 yards. So Derrick Henry is a rushing champion, hugely important to him, hugely important to the offensive line. And I think Mike Vrabel and the Titans were kind of weighing what's more valuable to our football team, a little bit of added rest for Derrick Henry, or the notoriety, the satisfaction, the pride in being a rushing champion and blocking for a rushing champion. Because I think this team, I think it's important to these guys, and I think it was important to have that success. You know, perhaps the best thing we saw in that game was the opening drive of the second half for the Titans. They ran 10 plays, and all 10 of them were handed off and just ran right down the field. So it was an impressive running performance for the Titans, an impressive running performance for Derrick Henry. And I think they wanted to send the message to everyone, we will run the ball whenever we want.
All right, and Corey, how excited is Tennessee to be back in the playoffs? And how important is it now to get a win? They've only had 1 playoff victory since 2004.
You know, that playoff victory was huge when Marcus Mariota led the Titans to the win in Kansas City because it had been so long. You know, it's very interesting, Jack. They've been 9-7 4 years in a row now. 4 in a row. The words before this season were good to great because they didn't want to be 9-7 again. They didn't want to have to wait to see if they would make the playoffs. And that's what this is all about. 9-7, 4 years in a row. They've made the playoffs 2 times. And when you go 9-7, that's what happens. You have to wait to the final week to find out if you're in. The funny thing is, you know, everybody's saying they won to get in the playoffs. They didn't have to win. Everything else went their way. They could have lost Sunday, and they would have still been in the postseason. But obviously, they feel much better about themselves having won that football game. But everyone here is very excited about this team because this team can score. This is one of the highest scoring teams in Titans history. They shook off those early season woes behind Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill, and now A.J. Brown, who looks like a flat-out monster. And everyone is very confident that whoever this team plays, they're going to put points on the board.